Welcome back to the Game Junkies podcast, the podcast which brings you all the latest gamer news, releases, and content. I'm your host Chris, and I'm here with my co-host Jack.
Hey.
How's your week been, Jack? Anything to add?
It's just the same every week, and it's getting to me. Jeez, this is like a therapy session.
I feel like it's
Talk
just
to me about your problems, Jack.
going through the motions, just the same old rinse and repeat, as they say.
Yeah, I think I might have the most uninteresting life,
Well.
potentially, in this lockdown.
We do a podcast, right? So that's
Yeah, that's positive.
that's
It keeps
positive,
me going.
isn't it?
How about you? What's been going on?
I mean, not much really. The same with me. Just work. I know I've been obviously playing Ghost of Tsushima, which we can talk about later. But yeah, I'm just waiting around for these next gen consoles. That's all I'm doing. I'm just waiting for them.
It's just a waiting game, isn't it? Yeah.
So I guess let's kick off the news then. So this news section pretty much is going to be focused on the Ubisoft Forward event, which was last Sunday.
There was a lot.
There was a lot to take in. And yeah, we both watched it, and we're just going to go through it step by step and sort of talk about how we feel about it and what they showed. So the first bit that I want to talk about is the Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay. So obviously Ubisoft hosted their press conference last Sunday on July the 12th. We saw loads of games, which again we'll go into detail a bit further on. But we did see obviously Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, which I feel like we were all looking forward to, and I feel like that was anticipated a while back, considering it was meant to be in the Microsoft. Well, not I say meant to be. It was heavily teased that it was going to be in the
Extremely.
in the Microsoft conference. So we were all a bit disappointed about that, but we finally got to see it, and unfortunately the leaked footage was the footage they did show.
I was hoping there would be like maybe a little bit extra.
Yeah, which was a shame. So again, we did go over that last week in detail about the leaked footage, but in the gameplay we basically see the player take the role of Eivor, walking around the enormous world with various different environments, snow, jungles, open land, castles, everything you expect to see in a Viking type game. I'm not sure what year it is, mind. I couldn't tell you the year.
I don't know my Viking knowledge. I don't have that on hand, unfortunately, so I don't know the years.
But the main thing we saw, obviously, was the player Eivor sort of handle a raid. So we saw them approach a castle with their fellow Vikings, their fellow Viking teams, storm a castle. And towards the end, obviously, like the leader of the castle is almost like a boss fight, I want to say.
I think it is a boss fight.
Yeah, and when you kill the boss, you liberate the castle, which is essentially what most Assassin's Creed games and Ubisoft games are like now. You just go to sort of liberate the area and sort of take control of the area. You sort of liberate the various, sections. But we went into it with detail. So I'm not going to repeat myself from what we saw last week, or what we said about last week, because it was pretty much exactly the same. But we obviously saw it from Ubisoft's perspective now, so we actually saw it from not a leaked footage. We actually saw it from what we were meant to see it. So, what did you think about it? How did you find it?
I mean, seeing it in the graphics it was intended for helped. I think. I think my favourite part, I didn't really take notice of it when seeing the leaked footage, was the rap battle they had. Some form of ancient Viking rap battle.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. Did you know that, Chris? That was their kind of pastime?
I did, yeah. I listened to them on Spotify, Viking rap battles.
Oh, so it's what you were expecting them.
This
is what you expected from a Viking game.
Expected them. But yeah, I mean, in terms of, like, I guess that was, I guess you could say, a side quest. But they have, like, Ubisoft have announced that they're not really doing side quests per se.
Okay.
So they're more doing stuff that you'll come across on your adventure. It just sounds like a longer way of saying side quest. What they've said.
It sounds like a side quest.
Yeah, they
steps.
It sounds like exactly. But they basically said that the sort of side quest will be a bit more integrated with the world and what you do. So I guess
suppose you'll stumble across them rather than you know where to find.
Go
a side
looking
quest.
from.
Yeah. So if you're just on your way to doing any task you want, you might stumble across someone who might want your help, I suppose.
Yeah. But I think.
I mean, I quite like that approach.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. I mean, I think the game looks fantastic. You know, it's what I expected. It's, you know, pretty much what we saw in, you know, Origins and Odyssey. You know, in terms of gameplay and fighting. Although I will say, it does look awesome to just run around with 2 shields and just... That just looks so fun.
That was great. I love that so much. I mean, that's what I'm planning. That'll be my approach, I think.
Yeah.
Just bashing people with 2 shields. It's something they would do.
Yeah, definitely. And the dual wield with axes looks so fun as well. You know, I feel like as a game you feel like a Viking. And one thing I was concerned about was I don't really see how a Viking could be an assassin. Because I feel like they're just berserkers, and you know, they're meant to just be ruthless.
But I guess
they touched on that,
dived
didn't
into
they?
that a little bit, yeah. Which helps
because
make it a bit more believable.
I imagine Vikings back in the day did, you know, use forms of stealth. They're going to do everything they can. They probably just don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Brush up on it because it's not as fun, I guess. I don't know, but I trust.
What's your opinion on boss fights like this?
I love them. I love boss fights. I think it I just always have. I think since the Dark Souls days, I've just loved boss fights purely because if I come across a boss I can't beat, and even though I hate it and I rage and I break like a million controllers, it's not the point. Like, I love to overcome that boss. You know, I like to have a more challenging enemy than just a normal NPC.
Well, what kind of bosses did you have in the older... Not the older, like the last couple of 2 games. Did you have any? What kind of bosses would you take on?
I mean, one I can sort of remember clearly was Medusa was one of them.
Okay, interesting.
And Minotaur. You had a Minotaur in the Odyssey one, so you know, sort of nice mythical creatures. Which again, they look like they're going down that sort of route with this one. There was a section, I don't know if you noticed it, but there was some sort of magic and stuff going on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
They're not going down the realistic route. They're definitely taking on the mythology of the era they're getting inspired from.
And I love that, personally.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, yeah. The one thing I wasn't too fussed on was the boss fight they showed. So it was a boss fight, but it was a guy. It was just a regular guy. So like, I don't understand why
he's a boss.
He has such a huge health bar. It doesn't, like, that kind of takes me out of it a little bit because he's just a dude.
Yeah, I mean,
he can't physically have such a huge health bar.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense what he's saying, but I kind of get it though. You have to have. I kind of disagree in that sense because I feel like you have to have one stand out from the crowd. You have to have the leader stand out.
But I was thinking maybe they just make him more challenging to fight.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a boss if he's. You know,
but you know, well,
you know what I'm saying?
He'll be more challenging in the sense that he'll use more moves. He'll be more maneuverable. He'll have heavier strikes. You know, you'll need to be on your toes. You know, because you'll be an even fight.
I guess that's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, but he has that plus having a huge health bar.
But imagine this, right? You go.
I think it'd be more interesting. It'd be like a Dark Souls kind of combat.
Yeah, but again, Dark Souls bosses have big health bars compared to
but
NPC.
They're also giant monsters.
Not all of them. Some of them are humans.
Well, most of them. Well, most of them have some form of like weird power of sorts.
So imagine this, right? You storm the castle. Right? I'm going to put you in a scenario. You storm the castle.
Oh, so I'm a huge buff Viking. Yeah,
you come across this boss, and you're like, oh, this boss is going to be really hard, and you kill him in the exact same in 2 hits that you do a normal NPC. Imagine that.
Exactly.
It's not as good,
it wouldn't
though,
be like that though, because he would be more strategic in his approach to fighting you. You'd have to really be on your toes compared to a standard NPC.
But again,
I feel like it would be more interesting if you were definitely just like a clone of each other. So you both had the same arsenal, you both had the same kind of move set, and you really had to think about what you could do because he could take you down just as easily. And so you could take him down. Yeah,
but you're going down the more realistic approach. We got to remember, this is a game.
True. But like with just like a human character, surely going with slightly more realism would be more engaging.
I mean, maybe he's injected himself with some magic or something. Maybe
Injected himself.
I don't know, with some steroids for back in the Viking days, or I don't know,
What's the
something.
equivalent?
Or like the thing is, that's only one boss we've seen. Like that.
Oh
there
yeah,
could be
sure.
many
Like you
others.
said, you mentioned about the there's some form of magic in this world, and you'll have bosses that wield that kind of ability. So that'll be interesting to see.
I mean,
It's a shame we couldn't see more of that. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what I did really like the look of is the choices sections. You could choose to kill
Or
one of the
spare them.
characters, or just spare them, and I like that because it feels like it's your own game.
Yeah, you're more invested because I'm hoping that your actions will have consequences,
Yeah,
whether they be good or bad.
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I personally can't wait. It's coming out pretty much the same time as the next gen. I feel like is going to come out. It's like the 17th of November. I think they announced the release date, and I feel
In
like
our ballpark?
that's going to be the next gen sort of date. I think.
Is
I
there
think
anything in the game that is there anything that you want that they haven't shown yet?
I don't think they showed much about their home, like the home-based settlement you have. Like I said, I touched on it last week, saying that I would love to have that as a big feature, and they actually work and put time into it. I like to go back and forth to my sort of settlement and feel like I can put money or gold into it, and feel like I'm building it up myself. That's what I would like to see.
Okay.
What about you?
I just want I just want to be able to fully level up my rapping ability. Personally. I'm hoping there's like a little leveling up system where you can really just absolutely own your opponent in a rap.
Like Skyrim, but with the skill trees, you just have a rap section.
Just have a rap one.
You can
I think that'll just be a laugh. I mean, I remember, they're not taking everything seriously. I remember
it's good. Yeah, I think that's
in
good.
it, they have like, I think there was like one of the people working there. They always include like a cat.
Yeah.
I
saw that, yeah.
I think it was like in one of the boats, and it helps you in some way, shape, or form.
I don't know how.
I don't know how.
It's I have no idea. Maybe it's a witch incarnated as a cat.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so clearly they have some level of silliness. So if they include that, I think that would be great. I would love to be able to have that and just do that in the world.
Yeah.
Just be a rap god instead of a Viking that kills people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So, do you want to take the next game?
Yeah, sure, why not? So this comes straight from IGN. Far Cry 6 has been officially revealed for February 18th, 2021 release date, and is coming to Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 5,
Mouthful.
PlayStation 4, Stadia, and PC via Epic Games Store and Ubisoft Store. Free upgrades will be available on PS5 for PlayStation 4 owners and Xbox Series X for Xbox One owners.
That's standard now, yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's something I've come to expect now
Yeah.
with next gen, that you'll be able to do cross-platforms and all that stuff. So after a leak this week, Ubisoft showed off the game's intro video and a cutscene introducing us to Anton Castillo, played by Breaking Bad's Giancarlo Esposito, and his son Diego, who is preparing for leadership of a totalitarian island state of Yara. I'm very proud that I was able to.
Well done.
say
Yeah, you
totalitarian.
didn't do one spell. Like that was fantastic.
Players will take on the role of Danny Rojas, who can be played as either male or female, which is a Yaran guerrilla revolutionary. So how did you feel when you watched the full release video?
It looked awesome. I think it looked fantastic. I mean, he looks like a dictator. He looks like a terrifying sort of character. I just feel like it's going to be fantastic. I mean, you see him sort of try and mentor his son in this. When I say mentor, I mean
he gives him quite a horrific.
He gives him a grenade and says, "Look, if you let go of that,
don't let go
we're
of
all
this,
dead."
please.
And I don't know. He just looks like the character who doesn't take any nonsense, really.
Oh yeah. You don't want to mess with this guy.
I, for one, like I said, I think I said this last week, I think he could personally overtake Vass as the sort of favourite Far Cry villain. Because, he's a great villain in Breaking Bad and various different films, or, TV series he's been in. So I think he will take this seriously, and I just hope that we actually do see a lot of this character. I hope it's not,
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they don't go down the trend, like the route of only introducing the villain, in the beginning or the ending of the game.
Yeah.
I hope there's various interactions with them. Far Cry 3 did it with Vars and the other villains. You had multiple interactions with them.
But I think in this one, it makes a lot more sense. Like, it feels more realistic because you are a revolution. You can see in the trailer that there's
a revolution.
No, but you know what I mean. Like
you are the revolution.
You are the revolution. You're fighting back against an evil dictator, and it's more realistic because the other games, like in America, like the one in Far Cry 5. I think we discussed this before. It's not as realistic as just a state going. It's unrealistic in it. That
it's unrealistic for a first world
yeah.
country. You would expect the government to have a bit more involvement, perhaps.
Yeah.
With that kind of state.
So, and it makes sense that on this one you'll have people to recruit and friends who want to fight back and various stuff like that. It makes more sense, this one, and personally, I'm looking forward to it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. How do you feel about? Do you think there'll be much connection between your like the protagonist and the main villain? Do you think there'll be a personal connection?
I hope so. I hope it's not you're just another one of the grunts in the army and he's just like, I don't care. I hope there's like a personal sort of connection. Like, I don't know if you'll maybe be a leader of the revolution or the guerrilla. 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 I don't know. Like I said, I really hope they don't bottle this and mess it up, so to say, with the villain.
Yeah, I was okay with 5, but it just didn't hit me the same way as the previous iterations of the Far Cry series hit. So I'm hoping they take a step in the right direction. I think they are. I think they've chosen a good actor for this role. He does a very good job in the shows and movies he's in. Very menacing character. I mean, his speech was very good. Clearly drove fear into his son's eyes. It shows that he wasn't playing around, giving him a grenade, trusting him to hold on to it.
Fun fact for you as well, which I found out the other day: the guy who plays the son, or the boy who plays the son, is the main guy in the Disney film Coco. He plays the boy in Coco.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I found that out the other day as well. I was like, fair play. They've actually hired quite a big cast for this then so far.
Yeah, it seems to be very big budget.
And
I'm curious who they'll have for the main character.
Yeah, and I feel like they wouldn't put this much money into the villains to not show them that much.
I'm hoping we get plenty of interactions with the main character and the villains. I didn't know that was Coco. Okay,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Any other leaks in terms of like potential actors within the
actors?
the cast?
But have you seen the screenshots they released?
No.
Yeah, they released about 4 screenshots, mainly of the world, and then one where you're actually in the first person view, and it looks gorgeous.
Okay, I need to see.
You need to see them.
I'm gonna look at it as soon as we're done with this. I need to have a look.
It looks gorgeous. It looks like the world they presented in the trailer, really.
Okay. Well, for the viewers at home, how could you describe the images?
Oh, I'm trying to think of them. There's one where you were basically, like I said, in the first person point of view. I want to try and get them up now and look at them specifically. But there was one where you were, in the first person point of view, and it showed, the gun he was holding. It kind of looked like a gun for that. I don't know the best way to do it.
He showed the gun he was holding. It looked like a gun.
So I'm looking at it right now, okay? So it looks like a gun that's been put together, kind of like a gun from Metro, you'd see. From
so it's just put together like kind of scraps. And is that what you mean?
Yeah, so it looks like it's just been put together from scraps.
Okay.
There's a horse, so you see a picture of the horse in the view. There's a little shack, like a revolution shack at the bottom of the hill. And there are planes going past spraying gas.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it looks really cool. It looks gorgeous. But that's the only one I can see at the moment. But they released some of the sort of world and how it looks. But it looks really good. It looks really nice. Really nice.
Oh yeah, I'm really hyped for this. So yeah, 18th or February next year. That's a bit of time to wait.
So I got a question for you. Do you think they will release it for current gen? I don't think they will, personally.
I think it's too far in.
Yeah, I think the window will be gone. I think
I mean, there might be. I don't know, because if they've only made it for the requirements for the next gen, then there's no way they're going to be able to release. Well, I mean, is there a potential opportunity for them to make a watered down version for older gen?
I mean, they could do. It really depends. It depends on if Microsoft and Xbox want to carry on with current gen, which again there's another news story later which we'll talk about, what the Microsoft plans are anyway for the current gen. So personally, based on how it's going, they really want to heavily promote the next gen. I don't think they will. I think they'll push it for next gen and keep it for next gen.
Yeah, it's a bit far in, isn't it? Because when's next gen specifically launching?
Probably November. Probably November. There's no specific dates yet, but
so you got a few months into the new year.
I'm sick of seeing Holiday 2020. Just give us the goddamn release dates for all these things, games.
Yeah, but does that make it better or worse though? Because when you say holiday, it could be the beginning of the holiday.
It won't. No, they know that. They know what they're doing. It'll be close to Christmas, so they can get them sales in.
They're gonna make so much.
I know.
Are you planning on getting one as soon as they release?
Yeah, I plan on getting the PlayStation 5. Yeah.
Okay.
There is actually another news story which we'll talk about after. Just kind of forgot to add in the notes, but that's fine. I sort of remember it from the top of my head.
Well, anyway. I can't wait to hear this. This is going to be great.
But yeah, anyway, sorry. We've got to just throw it all at you there. So is there anything else you wanted to add about Far Cry? Or feel like
I think we've encaptured our thoughts. I mean, they, compared to last week, they only showed, a snippet of a zoom in of the main villain, and now we've added more detail. We've added a bit more personality. We've added higher stakes, showing the riots in the streets. Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Again, I feel like we'll see gameplay pretty soon.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not sure when, but I can't wait to see that. That's gonna look great.
Yeah. So I guess the next game, which I think this was probably the biggest game they went in depth about in the whole conference, was Watch Dogs Legions. I feel like
they did go into quite a lot.
It was, yes. Again, this was from IGN, so there's a lot to take in here. So we're just going to go through it and we'll just have a chat about it. So
can't wait.
Watch Dogs Legion. I was going to say Legions then. Watch Dogs Legion is an open-world action-adventure game that takes place in a fictional post-Brexit version of London. The city has been taken over by a private security group called Albion, who have used the Bloom Corporation's Central Operating System, or CTOS, to turn London into a surveillance state. It'll be up to you to recruit a group of operatives to join DedSec and regain control of the city. So that's just like the sort of background with,
That's very bold.
It's very
for them to
bold.
choose a post-Brexit scenario. I feel like not many people are going to be too happy about that.
I mean, this DedSec have been in it. I think they were in the first one. I can't remember. I didn't remember the first one, but they were DedSec with a sort of rebellion. And they were the ones in the second one. They were your sort of team, So it makes sense. So operatives in Watchdog Legions can be assigned to one of three classes. You got the Enforcer, which specializes in guns and dealing damage. Unique equipment is the Sticky Mine. So you've got the Hacker, which specializes in remote control. The unique equipment is a spider drone, which I think looks really fun. Like, I love that one.
I saw that. It was pretty interesting.
And then the final one is the Infiltrator, which specializes in stealth and melee combat. Unique equipment is the AR camo. So of them three operative classes, which one do you think stands out most to you? Which one do you think you would like to play the most as?
Well, the thing I'm quite confused about isn't the whole point of Watch Dogs is that everyone is a hacker, like you are a hacker. Yeah. So like, isn't each role, surely you're hacking in each role?
Yeah, I guess they just wanted to give a purpose to playing as different characters, didn't they? Really, because obviously you can recruit anyone you want, like a random NPC. They just I guess they wanted to add a bit more personality to each of the characters, which makes sense.
I suppose so, yeah.
But I guess
for me, I just thought like Watch Dogs. When you think of Watch Dogs, like you're hacking.
But I guess
I just assumed that like all the characters would have an opportunity to be able to hack. So I don't know why there's a specific hacker class exactly?
I mean, with hacking, especially in even in today's world, there's specialties of different computers and stuff.
How do you know this, Chris?
Well, it's just the world, isn't it? There's different types of computers out there, and I feel like with this world, especially in Watch Dogs, there's so many different types of computers and stuff you can hack. It makes sense that they're gonna
you sound like you have some insider knowledge.
Yeah, I'm a part of DedSec now. Shh, keep it quiet.
Yeah. Keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet. Yeah, keep it quiet. As I say on the podcast, we'll cut this out.
I mean, if I had to choose one, I'm quite straightforward and quite cut and dry. So I'd probably choose Enforcer just because it specialises in guns, so I'll just shoot a lot.
That's fair enough. I'd probably go Hacker. I think Hacker's probably my sort of what I'd go for.
I would have liked to choose Infiltrator, but I'm just rubbish at stealth, so I know I'd muck it up most of the time.
Yeah. So each class has special perks that can be unlocked at levels 5, 10 and 15. For example, hackers can unlock a perk called Attract that gives their spider bot the ability to distract nearby enemies. Before recruiting an operative, you can check your phone and see what kind of traits they have. Traits can be beneficial to your team, although some can come with potential risks. The trait Bare Knuckly Boxer gives an operative 30 plus melee damage, but it also means they will never surrender if caught, putting them at a higher risk of being killed, arrested, or hospitalized.
Okay.
So I think what they've done with how you can just walk up to a random NPC and recruit them is incredible. Like, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty cool, yeah.
And it makes sense for them to do it in this sort of, in the Watch Dogs universe, because you want to build up your DedSec, revolution. It makes sense that you could do that.
Well, do you know how many you start off with?
I do not
Is that
know.
something they discussed?
I don't think they did, no. But it's good that it's not just like if you go up to an NPC and you're like, well, this is just going to be exactly the same as the last one I recruited. It's good that they are going to be different from the last one, so they'll have their benefits and perks and downsides to it. I like that. I like how you can have, you can't have all these good things without any bad things. I appreciate that because it makes you think a lot more. So you think, okay, if I go for this guy, he's going to be, like they said, it's going to be great that he's got 30 plus melee damage, but he has a higher risk of permanently dying, if that makes sense. So he's which I like. I think it's really good, and like I said, I feel like it gives a bit.
There
more
are stakes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Unique is the word.
And I think it gives a lot more uniqueness to the game. So like my game again will be different to yours. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
They showed off obviously the world. It's London. It's very, I guess, it's not extremely futuristic like Cyberpunk.
Well,
but
it says post-Brexit, so it's
Yeah.
relatively near in the future.
Yeah, but there's obviously technology that we don't have yet, or if we do, we don't know about it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But how do you, from what you... I mean, the gameplay didn't really show off anything new.
No.
It's what we've seen. So how do you feel about this game? You excited for it?
Yes and no. I don't know. I never really bothered with the first two Watch Dogs. I don't know, for some reason when I saw them, they just looked like a kind of GTA clone, but you can hack.
That's offensive.
That's
very...
I know.
That's very...
I'm sorry for all the Watch Dogs, the fan base out there. I'm sorry. But that was my view when I first thought about Watch Dogs. I think it's evolved into its own kind of thing over the years. I guess this one might be a bit more interesting than the second one. Did you play any of the Watch Dogs?
I played
the previous games.
The thing is, the first one, the hype behind that was incredible. Like, everyone was like, this is going to be amazing, and I was one of them. I was like, this game looks incredible, and it just didn't live up to the hype. It just wasn't.
No, I heard it died down pretty quick.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as what they said it was going to be. The second one I played through, and I loved the second one, but I feel like with the second one, the hype had already gone. So people were already disappointed in the first one. They didn't.
So you didn't think it was like a hot franchise? That people would be like, wow, let's get that.
I mean, the thing is, when you start a new franchise, the first one has to be, amazing, doesn't it? If you want it to carry on, you have to have a great first game. And I'm not saying it was a bad game. It just didn't live up to the hype of what it could have been and what they sort of said it was. And And again, the second one, they did improve a lot on what the first one was, and I enjoyed playing the second one. But I feel like, again, the hype just was gone and people had a little bit less faith.
Do you think the hype has returned at all?
I think so. I mean, again, people who played the second one really enjoyed it. I was one of them, I loved it. So I am more prone to go, this one looks really good. I enjoyed the second one. It looked very
So third time's the charm, then.
So third time's the charm. I don't think it'll be a game I probably get day one. Personally, it doesn't.
So it's not a game you'd pre-order.
I don't think so. No, I feel like it's a game I get around to playing, if that makes sense. Personally, just because I just feel like I don't know. It's just it doesn't grab me that way. This game.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you think you pre-order it?
I feel somewhat the same. I'll pick it up in time potentially. Like you said, it was mainly due to the previous games not living up to the potential. I mean, like I said, they've improved upon the years.
Yeah.
But I might get it. I might get it for a laugh. Who knows?
Just, why not? But
huge potential. It'll kill time.
So, I mean that's sort of it for Watch Dogs. I mean, if you want to go check out the gameplay, you can. But it wasn't really anything new from what we saw. I mean, I think we saw how the steps you get to recruit a new NPC. So
that's right. Yeah.
Approach them and you sort of see how you do like a sort of mission for them. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Watch Dogs 2. Personally, I think it looks quite fun to play. And if you're into it, definitely, I feel like it won't let you down.
Excellent.
But we obviously did. I mean, there was 2 other games, or there was a few other like sort of little indie mobile games. We saw Valhalla, which to me just looks like Smash Bros.
Yeah, I saw. The thing is, they had the same animations as well. Yeah. For when you knock someone out of the arena, they have that kind of like I don't know. They have that kind of like cloud of dust.
Yeah, it just felt
like when you leave the screen, you have that kind of a little explosion.
It felt very copy and pasty.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I think it was it's a mobile game.
Is it?
I think it's just purely on mobile. So that'll be interesting. And also,
it's not as bad then, because I feel like it's quite interesting if you can get that kind of standard on your phone. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Also, obviously, they talked about Hyperscape, really, which we did a deep dive. I think it was a couple of podcasts ago.
Yeah, we looked more into that. I enjoyed it. It looked pretty good.
I think they showed off a cinematic trailer, which looked pretty cool. Very good.
It gave me very Overwatch vibes.
That's sort of...
like the short films Overwatch had. Kind of gave me that kind of a vibe.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole sort of Ubisoft forward, really. Obviously, we're paraphrasing quite a lot. You can definitely check it out yourself if you want to look at it in more detail.
It's out there. I mean, how long is it, the video?
I think it was about an hour.
Do you remember?
I think an hour,
not too long. If you've got a spare hour, have a look at it. They have they have a lot of variety on there. They go into a lot of detail.
Yeah, if any of those games interest you, you'll definitely
pick it up.
So, I mean, do you want to, now that's sort of out of the way, do you want to talk about the next?
Well, we got a tiny, short little finisher, I suppose, to the new segment.
Yeah.
So it's basically about Xbox One and digital discontinued, essentially. A Microsoft spokesperson said in an interview with Verge, as we ramp into the future of Xbox Series X, we're taking the natural step of stopping the production of Xbox One X and Xbox One S or digital edition. I mean, I'm not surprised.
This is...
We need to pave way into the future. We can't hold back. It's a very big life lesson.
I mean, I am a little bit surprised that they've done it without releasing the date of the next gen. Like, I feel like they should have done that first, but I mean,
I suppose so.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, not surprising. I think the only thing that's surprising to me, it does seem a little bit early that they've done it.
It does, because when they did Xbox 360 and Xbox One, they were still producing Xbox 360s. A couple of years after Xbox One was released.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they're doing it so urgently.
Yeah, but again, it's not surprising.
I mean, it's not so bad. They're not taking down the servers or anything, or services towards the current gen.
Yeah.
So it's not forcing others to buy next gen.
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah.
do you think PlayStation are doing anything similar to that?
I mean, they inevitably will, right? They will do it. I'm
Just
not
not as early.
sure. I mean, I always assumed they'd stop doing it after the release of the next gen, but maybe they just want to get a head start on it now.
Maybe, I suppose so. I just don't know why they're. I don't know why they're discontinuing it so
Yeah.
soon. Usually you get a bit of time to think about if you want to buy a next gen or not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I imagine they would do it. I mean, in talks of the next gen, this was the sort of next news story that pretty much happened like today. So you should definitely check this out. Is a hands-on with the PlayStation 5 controller. So Jeff Keighley, I don't know if you know much about him. He's basically a very
Heard the name?
Yeah, he's a very in the game industry. He's a good. He's great. He's great. He knows everything. What he's
You know
talking
him?
about. He's present. I know him
guy.
personally. Yeah. He's a presenter of all these game shows, and I think he's doing a Summer Game Fest at the moment. I think that's where he's
Okay, yeah.
leading now. But anyway, Sony gave him the first hands-on of the PlayStation 5 with a DualSense controller. And he showed what it looked like compared to the current one, and it looks amazing. He did a little demo of Astrobots, I think the game is called, which was
Astrobots.
which was a game that is pre-installed on the PlayStation to show off what the controller can do.
Okay.
So apparently, when he was sort of playing it, there was various different sections. It's probably best if you look at it. It's about half-hour sort of little video of him messing around with it and see
So
what
it's
it
just
can do.
specifically about this controller.
Just showing off what the controller can do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's your thoughts on it?
It sounds amazing. I mean, like he was saying, when you go through like an icy place, you can feel the sort of shards of ice on your hands, if that makes sense. Like you can
So
feel
it simulates thing you're touching, or
So he said when you're walking through sand, it feels like there's sand on your hands. When you're walking through ice, it feels icy, which just sounds incredible.
wow, that's really cool.
That
sounds would get annoying very quickly, though. I think I would get annoyed by it.
I mean,
It sounds really cool. Like that is proper next gen stuff.
Incredible.
That's something that I didn't really think that could be done.
No.
But that's really cool. My only complaint about it is that if I want to play through a game and I'm constantly feeling the effects of my character, I'm just gonna be like, oh, leave me. I'm the player here. Let the character deal with all this. I just want to relax.
The thing is, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of these features are going to be used anyway. I mean, there was a lot of features the PlayStation 4 controller had, and like 90% of games just didn't use it, so what was the point,
That's fair enough.
So
I mean, would they talk about any games that might potentially include this?
I mean, they didn't really. It tends to be the PlayStation
What
exclusives.
games would you expect?
It tends to be the PlayStation exclusives that do the whole sort of 9 yards with the DualSense controllers.
Okay.
Like Uncharted did it. The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, for example. This one's done it as well. So it tends to be them. And the final thing, he sort of obviously goes into a deep dive about it. But the triggers, so the aiming triggers are to an LT, the ones at the back. The amount of pressure you put on it, it feels like. So say you're pulling back a bow. When you're putting your pressure on the finger, it feels like you're pulling back a bow. So it gets harder the further you pull it.
Oh right.
Which is really cool, and it feels like you're drawing back a bow, or if you were, pulling the trigger of a gun, it feel like you're pulling the trigger of a gun, essentially. Which sounds really cool. Really
it does.
Cool.
The thing I was really confused about, I was like, when you mentioned ice, I was thinking, what, the controller turns cold?
No, it's not.
I would be like, wow, that's proper. That's the future.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. But no, it's not like that. It's just you get the feeling of ice.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. Damn, I wonder maybe the next gen after PlayStation 5 they'll include temperature changes.
That'd be pretty cool.
On your controller.
But yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. It looks really cool. It's a good hands-on of it, and yeah, it looks really cool.
Great.
Check it. So I guess we're on to our next section then, which is what we're playing.
Is that the official title?
The official. What are we what we're sort of playing this week? Because it's so important that people find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go first purely because I don't really have much to say, because I'm playing through Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep, and I assume no spoilers this time.
No spoilers. I feel like we're gonna go. Like I'll go into a deep dive after I finish the game. Hopefully, it'll be by next podcast. But I probably about 4 or 5 hours into it, and what I can say is it is a beautiful game. Like it's stunning. Like the visuals are incredible. It's one of the only games I have wanted to use photo mode in it because it's just so gorgeous. Like you just
there's so many opportunities with many games. They had, a lot of games have kind of photo mode, but sometimes just like I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
And
but this one it is.
Yeah, I mean, just so from what I played of it so far, the combat seems really fun. It's not too easy. It is quite challenging, I find. Okay. And you can do various different approaches with stealth or going in there just guns blazing if you want, and you don't get it's not like because I know there's a lot of misconceptions at the start that people thought if you went in stealth you're going to bring dishonor to the samurais and you're going to lose stuff, but it's not like that. I mean, obviously they talk about it, main character Jin. I mean, I'll go into a deep dive next week about the characters and everything, but he talks about the stealth is in the samurai way, and it seems really interesting. Like I said, I'm having fun playing it. So
he just takes everyone on.
Yeah, I'm having fun playing it at the moment. I'll hopefully get into a deep dive next week. So I'm not.
So there's nothing you can talk about at all. There's nothing more.
I don't want to.
It looks
I don't want to
good
go
and
into
it plays
it.
good.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Nothing. There's nothing. I need to hear what. Come on, there must be one thing that isn't a spoiler.
I don't want to go into it yet. I want to wait.
I mean, it does have to be story.
I've said, like I said, I haven't really played enough of it to have a solid opinion on it.
I'm just trying to think. Like, are there certain elements that you enjoy within the game? Are there like is there like a weapons kind of system? Do you collect weapons?
I barely scratched the surface with this game. 4 or 5 hours in, every time I pick it up, even in 10 minutes, I'll find like 100 new things, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's the map.
So it's pure
huge.
Open world.
Yeah, the map is huge. The exploration is huge. It's just a huge game. If you like open worlds, you'll love it. From what I can tell so far, if I can't, I don't know what to say about it at the moment because, like I said,
okay. What about map size? Like, how big is it compared to another? Is it the biggest map you played on?
I don't know if it's hard to say. I don't know if it's the biggest map I played on, but what I do find about this game, I feel like I don't want to fast travel anywhere. I feel like I want to just run around and explore. I feel like I want to take my time in this massive open world. I don't want to fast travel because I want to, if something.
So there is an option to fast travel. Yes,
you can fast travel. But personally, I would recommend not doing it because you will discover so much along the way, and it's just such a. It mainly goes on the ambient sounds. So like crickets and the trees and. That's main. There's hardly any music in there.
Oh really?
And
that sounds nice.
You put your headphones on. You feel like
peaceful.
you feel like you can just run through and walk through these various locations and then get jumped by some Mongols.
I was going to say, is it peaceful? Like, can you get moments?
But obviously,
it's
such a beautifully looking game that. And the sounds are incredible. You feel like you can just sort of sit back and relax when you're traveling and walking through. But again, it feels like I feel like I don't want to fast travel anyway. I just want to go through it myself and just run through it.
Yeah. I mean, do you like the characters in the game?
The main character seems pretty interesting. He seems like what you'd expect a samurai to be, very driven. Sticks to what his sort of samurai ways are. He doesn't want to dishonor his family or dishonor anyone. He's very family orientated. And he seems like a nice guy. He doesn't, he seems like
a nice guy.
He seems like he wants to try and help anyone out he can. Basically, without too much spoilers, the Mongol is set when the Mongols try to invade.
So do you have what's the big baddie? Genghis Khan.
It's not Genghis Khan, but it's one of the Khans. I can't remember his first
Like
name.
a descendant.
Yeah, it's
or
like
something.
a descendant, and
Okay.
yeah, the main baddie's pretty interesting in it. Again, I'll deep dive into that, but he seems pretty interesting. He seems like a typical Mongol baddie.
Okay, typical.
Typical Mongol baddie, because
Those
they've been in
typical
so many
Mongols.
games. But yeah, so far, like I am really enjoying it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good.
Okay. I mean, do you have any allies or?
I'll go into that next
Really
week.
good.
I'll go
Oh!
into that next week. Yeah,
I'm just trying to like
I know. I'm just.
get info out of
I don't
you.
want to deep dive now and then deep dive is pointless, so I'll wait until
I'll get you next week.
next week. You'll get me.
Okay, fine.
So what are you playing? What are you?
I am. Well, I was inspired by Far Cry being released, so I thought I'd take a stab at Far Cry 3 again.
Okay.
It's really, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I haven't touched it for years.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played it was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Ages ago.
Yeah.
And the thing, it's great because I still remember all of Vars's moments
Yeah.
within the game. Like, that's how good he was. All his quotes are so memorable, and all his interactions are great. And the main character you play as, Jason Brody, I think that's the name. He's really interesting as well. Because you essentially start off as this really terrified young adult who just doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just terrified of his environment and what's happened to him, to becoming this absolute psychopath who just kills anyone who stands in his way.
Why not?
Exactly. I mean, have you played you played Far Cry 3, haven't you?
I played Far Cry 3. I played it back when it was out on like PlayStation 3. I think it was when it first came out.
Well, I think it was 2012. it came out.
Yeah. So when it was years ago, I played it and I loved it. I think I only played through it once though, but I loved it. It's my personal favourite of the Far Cry games. It got me sort of going with the Far Cry games. I never played 1 and 2, and it sort of got the ball rolling for me. But in terms of the new, like, because they did the remake classic one, didn't they?
They did, but that's the one I'm playing. But I'm looking between that and the original version. It's just
No different, is there?
it's not really. No, they've tweaked it slightly, but not much where you can actually really notice the changes, which is a shame. I was hoping that they'd make it a bit more refined,
So
more HD.
I mean, I have it downloaded, and I think I played like 10, 15 minutes of it, if that. I haven't replayed that much of it. So I can't, really say the difference. But again, it feels like how it did back when I played it on the old generation consoles.
Well, I enjoyed it the first time I played it. It was really great. I mean, that's what got me into open world games, really.
Yeah.
It's my favourite environment out of the Far Cry games, at least. I love the island. It just looks really nice. And that's why I'm saying it's such a shame about the essentially remastered, because if it was remastered with updated graphics, that would look fantastic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the guns are pretty good. Collectibles are interesting. I mean, I enjoy the characters, the allies you have, the various villains you take on.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to the idea of liberating outposts. To that, I wasn't used to that formula.
Yeah.
That Ubisoft have. I think that was there any? Do you remember any games prior that had that kind of layout?
Not really, if I'm honest with you.
It might have been the first one, maybe.
Possibly the first one. I know Assassin's Creed started to get open worldy as well.
Well,
that's the
do you think
official
the first
term,
game,
open worldy.
Open worldy, yeah. When do you think the first Assassin's Creed game became officially first open world? It was probably
Black Flag.
Origins, right?
I think Black Flag.
You think
Black Flag was
all the
pretty
way back
open
then?
worldy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Flag was pretty open. Maybe Assassin's Creed 3 was pretty open worldy as well.
Okay.
That's the official term. Open worldy.
Open worldy.
You had collectibles, and you had a similar sort of layout to Far Cry. I'd probably say Assassin's Creed 3, possibly 4. Depends how you look at it.
That's fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, I like that sort of layout. I like that. They've done it really well, Ubisoft. And Far Cry 3
that's what got me into open world games. It's my favorite environment out of the Far Cries. Before then, it unlocked my mind to venturing into other games, because I was just I was such a Halo fanboy, and all I played was Halo.
I mean,
I just didn't bother playing anything else. And I touched it, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
You can see that they have pretty much built 4 and 5 on the engine of 3. You know, it feels very similar. You know,
they've changed hardly anything.
Yeah.
Really, to the formula.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Far Cry 4 is essentially just a rehash of 3, just in a different area.
Better graphics.
And the graphics updated,
yeah.
In fact, that was probably what I was hoping for with the Far Cry 3 kind of remaster, in the sense. Because that's essentially what Far Cry 4 is.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I loved it, personally. It was a great game.
I mean, do you remember any other characters within Far Cry 3?
I remember the tribal woman.
What's her name?
Don't know her name.
Citra.
I remember her.
Yeah.
Was there like a doctor on top of like a hill? He had like a magic mushroom farm. Or am I just going crazy?
Dr. Earnhardt.
That's the one.
Name.
I knew I wasn't going crazy. I was like,
he just lives in a house on top of a hill.
Yeah. And I remember that weird, wacky mission where you just take magic mushrooms by accident and just go on a random.
That was very trippy.
Yeah.
I enjoy that though. That's probably one of my favourite missions.
And I remember that Vaas isn't actually the main bad guy.
He's not the main bad guy within.
No.
I've forgotten the main guy, but there's like an overseer.
Who cares
like
about
the
him?
main.
Nobody
exactly.
cares.
He wasn't the main.
Nobody cares.
He wasn't
about
the guy on the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Art, you know?
Who cares about him? He didn't tell me what the definition of insanity was. He wasn't helping
exactly.
my education, was he?
Jeez, he didn't help me at all.
Yeah.
I don't really remember him that much. I haven't got as far into the game where I interact with him as much because he owns the other part of the island and it's a bit more heavily fortified, I think.
Yeah.
But I think he was kind of interesting when I remembered him playing against him years ago. But you know, Vaas, is just superior in every way, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. You know, I also enjoyed the idea of hunting and crafting for better weapons and better bags to hold money and loot and syringes and all that stuff. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah. So
it was just a different kind of gameplay.
It was good
to what I was used to. So it was nice, and I've enjoyed Far Cry 3.
That's good.
Oh, Chris, you haven't given your Game Junkies review. Rating.
I can't. I can't.
You can't.
I told you we got to do this when I finish the game.
Damn.
What's your Game Junkies review of Far Cry 3?
I think I'd give it a solid 9.
Ooh,
I know, right? Up there.
Is really high. It was not expected.
That is high for the Game Junkies rating.
Ooh, that is very high.
We have very high standards.
Wow,
obviously.
that is very high.
So 9 out of 10 for the official Game Junkies rating.
So
Far Cry 3.
Are you ready for the main event of this podcast?
This is the main event. That's the only reason why I show up.
Guess the game from quotes, I guess, is the title of it.
We
don't
not
really have
calling it that.
We don't have a title for it.
Quotes.
Well, how else would you call it? It is what it
I don't know. I just call it Trivia Round.
Trivia Round. So, are you ready
No.
for this? Okay. So,
Not at all.
you want to try and beat... How many... You want to try... Well, get all of them.
Well, you got 4.
Okay.
Hour 5. Last episode. So, we'll see how I do.
I'm going to start off easy for you. And kind of relevant to what we've been talking about today. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Hold on, Chris. I wonder where that is from.
Yeah, think about that.
Let
think
me
about
think. Was that Far Cry 3 by any chance?
It was, but who says it? Because I don't think you'll get this. You sure? You sure?
Yeah.
100%.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, and you'll be a bit embarrassed by this.
Go
that
on.
was the quote I gave you last episode.
Was it? Oh, that's probably... Oh, okay.
Chris!
That's, yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm slacking. I'm losing it. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
5 episodes, that's
right,
all
I'm
it
giving
took
you a hard
to
one now
crack.
for that. I'm giving you a hard one for that now.
Well, I get 1. That's fine.
Do you know what's funny? Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
Do you know what's funny? I don't think I've done... Ooh, that is... isn't that one of the Batman games?
Yeah, which one?
Arkham Asylum?
No.
Is that even a game?
Yes. Yes, that's the first one.
No, which one is it from then?
Second one. He says it to the Joker as the Joker's dying. Spoilers.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Well,
I knew
spoilers
what
afterwards.
the scenario was. What's it called?
What's what called? Sorry. Oh,
What's
Arkham
the game
City.
itself called?
Arkham City.
Arkham City.
I love
Okay.
that one. So you get half a point.
Yeah, I'm fine with half a point.
Half a point.
Great.
Okay. Finish him.
Oh, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Who says it?
Isn't it just like the announcer?
No. Yeah. Actually. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think the character
yeah.
himself says finish him as he kills the guy. I swear it was like the announcer or like commentator of the match.
Fair enough. That's 2.5.
Hey, I got
I'm
halfway.
Okay. The cake is a lie.
Oh, Portal.
Yeah. Do you know the sort of situation? Well, not situation. Do you know?
Do I need to know the person who said
character who said it? I mean, you don't need to. It's
I
just
got the
nice
game right, so I got
yeah,
a full point.
I mean, sure.
I forgot the characters within the game.
I think it's GLaDOS. GLaDOS, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's spelled like G
person.
capital A, and it's like A.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like
Very
a
weird
kind of one. Okay, so 3.5.
I got 3.5 out of 5. Okay.
Now, this one, I feel like you should get it.
I should get it.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, if I get this, I'll be higher than you. Oh, okay.
If you don't get it,
I'm ready.
I think it'd be okay.
I'm ready.
This is a lot.
Okay.
Okay. By the time I learnt the demon's intent, there was nothing I could do.
Oh, I recognise it. Oh, I'm not going to ask for a hint because I think I know where it's from. I'm just trying to reimagine the scenario. Can you say it again?
Just closed my phone. Thanks a lot.
Oh, brilliant!
By the time I learnt the demon's intent, there was nothing I could do.
Oh, Halo 2.
Yeah, well, it took you longer than I expected you to get.
I know what's going on. I
Who
thought I was
says
meant to be the Halo nerd here. What's going
Who
on?
says it? Who says it?
Well, Arbiter.
Yeah,
obviously.
OG.
Because it's the OG Arbiter, one of the
Well
best
done.
characters.
You got 4.5 out.
I got 4.5 out of 5.
Even though I gave you a quote which
I
you gave me, so that's yeah.
That was your bad there. I think that's an automatic
so
point
hard
for me
to
personally.
keep up with it all.
Hey, I got it right anyway before announcing that you screwed it up. So that's good.
So congratulations,
anyway.
4.5. I think
Hey,
successful.
that's the highest score yet on the trivia round on the Game Junkies podcast.
I think I went easy on you this time, though. I feel like next time I'm going to go.
I don't know. You said one of them was going to be a really hard one. I got half marks for it. So that's you underestimating my gaming knowledge, Chris.
Yeah, maybe. So I guess that wraps up the podcast. So
brilliant.
Thank you for listening to the podcast, everyone. We have a Patreon page, so if you'd like to support us and what we do, it'd be greatly appreciated. Check us out on Patreon/GameJunkies to find out more information. You can also follow us on Twitter, GameJunkiesOG, to all the latest updates. Anything to add, Jack, or is that?
I'm hoping for a more interesting week next week.
Yeah. Considering Xbox is in like 3 days, right?
So, I am so hyped for that.
It's gonna be exciting.
Oh God, I can't fathom. I just can't wait. A few days, I can see Halo Infinite gameplay finally.
So next one's going to be a big one, guys. So see you next week. Have a good one.
See ya.